Yes, sir. Good morning. This is the morning run. Big Dog Chico, Uncle Neely, Dukes the Scoop, your number one source for breaking sports news and the cold-blooded analysis that we will bring to you. I'm Big Dog Chico. That's my main man, Uncle Neely. We will have Dukes the Scoop joining us shortly, but we do have some breaking news already early today in the NFL that we can go to. We'll bring in Dukes after we get your thoughts and takes on this, Uncle Neely. But Myles Garrett, the all-world defensive end with over 100 sacks in his career already, has officially requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. And part of what he said in his statement was, while I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. He said the goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. I think that's a direct shot at what the GM said previously. It's always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. Talk to me about your thoughts about the all-world, all-pro defensive end Myles Garrett requesting the trade from the Cleveland Browns. I think you was on mute, Unc. Talk to me.
I said, first of all, Big Dog Chico, let me say what's up to you. Good morning where you are in part of the world. This is the morning run, lunchtime as we get to the Central and East Coast time. But, hey, man, back over on the West Coast, it's the morning run. I seen somebody just checking in from London. Hell, it's night over there. Yes. So it is worldwide. Chico, 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 Chico.
Yes, sir.
You got mad at Unc the other day when Unc said that Cam Newton was BSing. He know he would rather have a Super Bowl than the MVP because the goal is to win. Now, here comes Myles Garrett, who's still currently playing, and he said, you know what, y'all, these 100 sacks, this Hall of Fame career, which is heading that way, that's all important. That's fine and dandy. But I didn't lift all them weights, in the words of Bill Parcells, to just be a sack leader for the Browns. Yes. I want a Super Bowl, man. I want to win. Chico, all these guys want to win. And so I understand where he's coming from. I ain't mad at him. I think he's given his all to Cleveland, and it just didn't pan out there environmentally. But I will say this. Here's the bigger impact, I think, to me. Because clearly when this guy wants to go, he's got the leverage to go. What does it say about the upcoming draft and Cleveland in his top pick and top picks about people even wanting to go there when you have a Myles Garrett saying, dog, we can't win here. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's spot on. I think he's given them all he can give them, in the prime of his career. He's seeing the direction that they're going. He brought in a quarterback like Deshaun Watson that hasn't panned out. He's hurt again. They're looking to take some of the money away from him. So what are you looking at if you're Myles Garrett? Possibility of bringing in another rookie quarterback, still rebuilding, Nah, dog. I'm like, man, listen, man, I'm not trying to go to the Hall of Fame from Cleveland just for my personal accolades and not winning. Where is that going to really get me at the end of the day? You broke it down last week and say, hey, man, they have some events that's only for champions. Yep. And, a guy of that caliber wants to be, in that exclusive club of winning the championship, especially when he's that top tier player who he knows that he can bring value to an organization that's right there on the cusp of winning a championship. So I think he's doing the right thing right during Super Bowl week to do this. We've seen this in the past many of times for that leverage I think it'll bring. So I think he's going to head in the right direction to go to a Super Bowl contending team. It's just going to see who's going to put up those multiple draft picks that it's going to take, maybe a young player, for them to give up Myles Garrett, even though he's requesting the trade and that leverage might not be there for the Browns. I think the haul that's going to be presented, as far as trade packages are going to be tremendous, and they're going to be able to take their pick around the league of who they want to trade Myles Garrett to and for, should I say. So, this is big news right here.
And he'll be a healthy part of those conversations.
Yes.
He just wants out of there. In between those lines, you better believe he's going to have a significant say in where he's traded to, because it needs to be a place with opportunity, a place with promise, a place that can get it done in the next 2-3 years max. Because this is a brother, like I said, man, I ain't mad at him. I think that not only has he given everything to Cleveland, Cleveland has gotten more than what they paid for. And so they won in the deal just as much as he won in the deal. But you've just reached a point of stalemate that this isn't going where neither one of us envision it going by now. Putting our shoulders further to the grindstone is not going to make it happen because it hadn't been, from a lack of work. It's just been a totality of issues in a series of unfortunate events that's hit them and hit them hard. And it always seems to hit them hard at Cleveland because it just can't get right. And so he's going to get up out of there and go somewhere where he has an opportunity for his skill set. And you got to look at the places that can give us some things that Cleveland may want for him. I think clearly Cleveland is going to be in the quarterback market in this draft or, through free agency or something because what they risked and did with Deshaun Watson, just did not pan out, not only from a massage standpoint, but from an injury standpoint and the way you manage those injuries. So it just didn't work. So you're going to need a QB. That QB is either going to need protection, and they got a pretty good line there going, but you're going to need protection or weapons. And so I think that what you can get from a Myles Garrett, because he's got a lot of gas left in the tank. Somebody is getting somebody that can still get to the quarterback, for the next 3 to 5 years. So it's not like, he's Shaquille O'Neal when he went to Phoenix or Boston. Like, this is somebody that can still get it done every Sunday if you want to. So I think it's going to work out in the end, man. I think he's going to go somewhere that has a chance, has an opportunity. You look at, just think how much better Baltimore would be with a defense to have Myles Garrett.
Lord have mercy.
And whatever they would have to give up as far as an offensive receiver or a weapon for Cleveland is more than made up for if you got a defense that can finally stop somebody, because their offense produced all year long, all season long for multiple seasons. And it's been their defense and inability to consistently get to the quarterback that's kept them out of the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of places where Myles Garrett can land and have an impact. And there's a lot of serviceable pieces that you can offer up for him around the league. I'm going to be watching that with some curiosity. But again, Chico, I say to you, as my man Deuce Scoops joins the screen with us live, I had to keep making sure I tell Deuce Scoop we live because sometimes he'll think we're in the green room. But I think it's one of those cases, man, where there might be some family, some friends, some loved ones around the draft that's a potential top 5, top 10 pick. And when you see a Myles Garrett say this about the organization, what does it say to them and their desire to want to go play there?
Hit me up, Dukes. How you doing? Appreciate you joining in.
Man, I'm good, man. I don't know what happened, buddy, but between last night and this morning, weather change, something hit me, boy. It's all up in here, all everywhere. So I sound a little stuffy, man. I apologize.
You on that Chico? You were down in South Alabama. I was
gonna change it up. I was gonna say you slept with the air conditioner below 65 or something, and here go Unc.
Man. Nah, man, but no, I think what an exciting weekend, right? Clearly we're talking about Myles Garrett requesting the trade, and I think man, ain't that scary for a guy in the draft, top 5, and thinking like, man, that's somebody that you would want to play with. Let's say you want to go defensive, that's somebody that you wanted. That was a selling point. But now, man, like, to have one of the biggest stars defensively in the NFL say, hey, I don't want to be here, it puts Cleveland in a tough spot, right? So we see it on basketball. We see it in basketball with how one player can kind of change the dynamic of an entire team. Myles Garrett is that type of player where he can go to a contender and change their fortunes. I just want to know what he considers to be a contender. Would it be a Final 8 type team that, does it have to be a playoff team? Does it have to be a team who is on the verge, but they aren't quite there yet? Everybody in Atlanta has said, oh, we got to go get him. We got to go get him. I'm like, man, we need more help than that. You got to go. We need all the draft picks we can get. Like, now, he is a great player, but I'm not even sure if he would consider the Falcons based on how bad that roster is defensively and how many gaps there are. So I think it's going to be interesting to find out what he considers to be a contender and who actually wins it and who wins the Myles Garrett sweepstakes.
Right. How did I know Dukes is going to come on and say the Falcons?
Oh, absolutely, man. Let me tell you this: if Dukes ain't nothing else, he's loyal. Now he He gonna ride with them dirty birds, you know.
Right.
But I will tell you this, Dukes. I love the way you frame that up because it's gonna speak to, and this is something I can testify to personally, having been involved with a sports agency that was representing Myles Garrett. He not only is a smart player on and off the field, he's surrounded by smart people. And so if his goal, I'm not going to read between the lines or make any assumptions. I'm just going to go off his statement. If his goal is exactly what his statement says, they're going to rule out people, and it's including people that want him, you know, because it still doesn't get you there. It doesn't get you there in the next 1 to 2 years. And so I think you hit it when you said you look at the top 8 or maybe in top 6, because he is the caliber of a person that can put you over the top. Dukes, you asked me on You Tell Me, and I posed the question to Warren Sapp. If don't nobody know about getting to the quarterback, Warren Sapp does. When we talked about if Chris Jones were to go play for the Eagles, would the odds then flip? And Warren Sapp, with about 5 seconds of thought, said it would. It absolutely would. Like it would change.
We got some pushback on that in the comment section also. You know, and I didn't really comment on that, but I'm riding with Jalen Carter. But that's another subject. We can go ahead. I'm riding with Jalen Carter.
But I think, Chico, I'm gonna ride with me, Deuce, and Sapp on this one.
Okay.
I think Chico, what the point is that you have players out there that can make such an immediate impact. They can change the outcome of a season, particularly when the season was just missed by 1 or 2 games. Dukes, I don't know if you heard when you were logging in, what would a Myles Garrett do on Baltimore's defense? Like the difference he would make for them, you know, coming out that AFC stronger and better and true Super Bowl contenders. Like it just, you know, hell, what would he do on Buffalo's defense? They would be in it right now. So he I think he has about 6 to 8 teams that he really can look in the mirror and say, dog, if I was there, I would at least be in the finals.
Now, I'm going to tell you, one team that could have used him this year, based on what they had, was Detroit Lions. With Aiden Hutchinson being injured, he would have been perfect. They go out, they get what's my man? Is it Darius Wilson? The edge rusher that they traded for. I think he came from the Browns, actually. I forgot the guy who they traded for. He was formerly of the Packers. I'm losing his name right now. But imagine a team where you have enough young talent around you where you may have the ability to, like you got Aiden Hutchinson on his rookie deal. All right, so you can afford to bring in a guy like this. Yeah, Jared Goff got paid, but when you got a lot of guys who are on a rookie contract, you talk about Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs is still on a rookie deal. David Montgomery is on a serviceable deal. Penei Sewell's on a rookie deal. Like you look at how many stars they have from the draft, you can bring in a guy like this for maybe a year or two and say, all right, look, we ain't got much time left because we got to pay all these guys. But you can help us get that bowl right now. Almost like you remember when the Rams traded for Matt Stafford, what they said, F them picks. We got to go get a guy who can help us win right now. So any team who's willing to say, all right, I need it right now, this is probably the most impactful player on the edge that you can, who can actually help you as a 3 technique if he wanted to. Like he can play anywhere on that defensive line and win. So 1,000%, he does things that Chris Jones and Jalen Carter can't.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Dukes. How many Super Bowls the Golf got?
0.
And if golf ain't like our boy Cam and he wants to win one, you ain't finna convince me that golf won't restructure to bring on a Myles Garrett.
Man, what?
You ain't finna convince me that he won't back in some of that money that he got overloaded to improve the team so he can get him one. Because he in the same situation. He ain't getting younger.
Yeah, for sure.
And the conference ain't getting easier. And so at some point you need these missing parts. And you saw quarterbacks in the past do it to bring on additional weapons. I don't know golf personally, but I would certainly believe he would restructure his contract to get a Myles Garrett on their team.
Man, it just hit me. All those teams that got close this year, who had the quarterback on the rookie deal? Redskins.
Yeah.
Yep. That's who
you got money to play with.
That's who can afford it. When you go far, you got a quarterback on the rookie deal. That's when you go load up around them. We've seen it time after time. Guys who flash early with these superstar teams because they you can afford it. Now, the most affordable superstar is probably Patrick Mahomes based on what he brings. But outside of that, everybody is kind of not, I would say cash strapped, but you have to move around a lot to bring in a guy like Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett goes to the Redskins. They got draft capital, right? And they got draft capital and they got money. I would probably say they would, if I were to check Vegas odds, I would think they would be near the top of the NFL when it comes to landing spots. When they put the odds, the prop bets on where he goes, I would think the Redskins will be at the top.
Let me say this to you, to the folks out there, Chico.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody talking right here, these three talking heads as well as the folks in the chat, are old enough to remember when the Seattle Seahawks won a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. When Russell went to Seattle, they had an outstanding damn defense. They were able to win a Super Bowl on his rookie deal, which cost them nothing. But when it came time to pay the quarterback after winning, they had to let that all-star defense go because you can't afford everybody. And so what Dukes is painting the picture of, when you look at guys, teams who are out there in the finals making noise for the Commanders to be on a rookie deal quarterback 1 year into it, they got the ultimate flexibility as somebody who is proven we right there just need a little help, and we're going to have money spare. So I like the way you drew it up, because winning on a rookie deal makes a lot happen for a team. And subsequently, using the Seahawks example, when you get there and don't get back there, it makes it that much tougher because you got to let people go because you got to re-sign the quarterback.
Yep, right. Absolutely.
Well, I'll say this from earlier what Duke said. The Lions did trade for Cleveland Browns defensive end. That was Zadarius Smith. He played 17 games played this past season, 9 sacks and 22 solo sacks. So he did make an impact with the Lions, but they just couldn't get over that hump. We'll see where Myles Garrett end up playing, but let me say this about the Washington Commanders that you guys just suggested. Are you not worried about that second-year sophomore slump from the rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels?
I'm not. I think when I look at his collegiate career, what he was able to do at LSU and winning the Heisman, and looking what he did his rookie year with all the new parts, new coaching, new system there, it shows me that's just who he is, that wasn't a fluke. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of drop-off, and not because he dropped off, because the rest of the conference division, caught up some. So I think there will be some quote-unquote bumps in the road. But to me, Jaden Daniels has proven he's a damn good quarterback and could be a damn good quarterback for years to come in the NFL. Let's get him some weapons.
Agreed. And I think when you look at what Cliff Kingsbury was able to do, when Cliff Kingsbury got the job for the Cardinals, they already had a first-round quarterback from the year previous, Josh Rosen, who they spent a number 10 pick on. We'll holler at you, Josh. We got to go get the quarterback that fits this offense the best. Who did they get? They went and got Kyler Murray. Can you imagine how elated that Cliff Kingsbury is to have basically a stretched out version, a 6'3" version of Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
When you talk about somebody who fits an offense perfectly, I don't think there's a better fit in the NFL for someone who's proven that they can do it offensively. As Kingsbury's offenses have been traditionally pretty good, but he's proven it, and now you've got the perfect piece for it. And there are so many times that people have to adjust what they want to do based on personnel. I can't do this because I only have this. I can't do this because he can't do this, so I have to adjust to him. Jaden Daniels has the mental capacity and the physical tools to pretty much install a whole offense without having to hold any of it back. And we know in the NFL, a lot of times, what do guys say? We gave him this, we didn't give him everything. Jaden Daniels, and I think this was the coolest thing I may have ever heard, on his list of teams of what he wanted virtual reality training so he could put the speed up, so he could learn visually and mentally how fast the NFL defense was. So while he's watching while he's training himself at hyperspeed conditions, the uniqueness and the unicorn nature of what he was able to do and the fit of him and that offense, I think that sophomore slump, I think he gets better next year.
Yeah, because
like that.
The fact that he requested that, he wanted to get better. He said, I not only want virtual reality training, set it on 1.5. I don't want the game speed, make it a little faster. Like he wanted that. And I can only imagine he's going to do the same this offseason. He's going to set it at 1.75. I would say this, y'all, and I'm not going to classify this as breaking news. I would call it new information. I had a conversation with Coach Prime and just getting his feedback on, East West Shrine Bowl, how everything went out there. And one of the things he did point out to me is that he had a very pleasant conversation with leadership for the Browns, and that in that conversation, he was able to see some things differently, as in getting a new understanding, of the organization and why they had moved in certain ways when things ended up the way they ended. Now, of course, this is days before this breaking news of Myles Garrett wanting out of there. But with where they're picking, we'll just see. They still have a top pick in this draft, man, and there's going to be a damn good player available when it's the Browns on the clock.
Yes, indeed. So we'll see, like I said, how that's going to work out. A lot of speculations about the teams, as we just did. And I think it's like 800 odds that he goes to New England, plus 700 for the Lions, 600 for the Bears, 500 for the Commanders, and 400 for your Cowboys, Uncle Neely. So,
well, I don't anticipate Jerry getting anything right. Y'all know my biggest statement is future performance. Is predicated by past performance. That's the best indicator of it. So I don't have any expectations that we're gonna get better this offseason, because we had all these opportunities to get better and we didn't. If I'm talking to Myles, I don't think the Bears is the place to go. I don't think they are one Myles Garrett away. I will say that from another breaking news standpoint, we didn't touch on it this weekend, Chico, but the Bears have brought on Eric Bieniemy as a running back coach.
Yes.
And that's his true position. Outstanding rusher at the University of Colorado. I still think that that brother still has a shot at being an OC again, as well as a head coach again, and got caught up in just the way things work in America for black coaches. But I'm happy that he's back on the staff and now can, plow some earth and get back where he's supposed to be. But it'd be interesting to see what he's able to do from that running back position coach at the Bears. But if I'm Myles Garrett, I don't think I'm going to the Bears. I think they're more than one away.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We had a discussion last night, Dukes. We were talking about Unc and I. We said, who won the trade? The biggest trade that has gone down in NBA history right now with Luka.
We weren't talking. We got in a fight.
We got into it. We had a disagreement. The video is getting ready to go up right now on YouTube. But Luka is now in LA, of course, as we all know. And Unc and I had a disagreement, as he says, of who actually won this trade. And I want to get your thoughts on this, dude. Who do you think wins the trade? Whether it's, as Unc said, 30 days from now or 10 years from now.
He's trying to bait you, Dukes. He's trying to bait you. That's why he's laughing. He ain't no damn
what you said, dog.
He ain't no damn good. You're supposed to leave the question right where it was and let him answer who won the trade, and then we get into the deeper nuance.
Okay, well, who won the trade, Duke?
This is the exact same trade as Matt Stafford going to the Rams. I'll tell you why. The Rams won that trade because they got what? They got a Super Bowl. They did what was necessary tomorrow to win. All right. Right now, the Mavericks did what's necessary tomorrow to win. All right.
Talk to him, Duke. Talk to him.
So right now, that's what's necessary tomorrow. Now, when you talk about they are going now, it's going to be, but they're going to end up kicking themselves years to come, because why can't we figure this out? Luka Doncic, and let me tell you something. I had to do so much research on Luka because I wanted so badly for the Hawks, my hometown Hawks. I always got some hometown flavor. I wanted so badly for the Hawks to be able to say they won that trade, Trae Young for Luka Doncic, and I had every scenario in the book. Oh well, you got to consider it came with Cam Reddish too, so you got to grade both of their careers. I mean, I had all the fire in the world. And I just had to go back and look at it and say, man, Luka top 5, dog. Like, it just is what it is. But right now, if you got a top 5 with an undrafted mentality, then it don't matter. You saw last year, I think it was so telling last year after they had a big win against Minnesota, I believe. And Luka got a beer, and Michael Finley runs right up to him. It's on camera. He runs right up to him. He's like, bro, what is you doing? Like, why are you drinking beer right now? Like, I get what, that's not it. And the frustration from that told me all I needed to know. I don't think Dallas viewed, like, I know for a fact now it's out. They said that his conditioning was a problem. Did he take the game seriously enough? We've seen plenty of stars fizzle out because they didn't have it here. It ain't what they had here. It ain't what they had here. It's what they had here. Will you do what's necessary to win? So right now, with somebody who did miss some games this year, now they starting to see, you probably want to miss them games if you was in better shape. Like, so now you give the opportunity for Luka to go learn from probably the most well-tuned athlete in the world, in LeBron James. If LeBron takes this on, you can see Luka become that next top 1, top 2 player in the NBA for the next 10 years if he takes this on. But as for winning the championship this year, I think that you have to say that with the way that Kyrie Irving is playing, to give him a big like Anthony Davis who's healthy enough, and this is probably your last year of AD being like this because your body just can't keep taking them injuries and you keep coming back from it. So I'm going to have to put a caveat on it. And that today I think the Mavericks win, but I think maybe even by this fall, I think it's a Lakers win.
It sounds a lot like what? Let me see what Uncle said. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to say
it sounds a lot like what both of us said. Like,
okay, there you go.
See, Chico, two things can be true at the same time. A quarter is head and is tails. It's the same damn 25 cents. Yeah. And I loved our spirited debate last night. I loved our argument last night. But we were at the end of the day, we both were saying the same thing. Pretty much. I had even questioned your Laker fanhood because you sounded like a Mavericks fan at one point. The way you were poo-pooing on it. And what I'm saying, here's one thing that I'm saying, Dukes.
All right.
And I'm going to say it again. I probably say it every episode. I'm going to keep saying it. The best indicator for future performance is past performance. There is nothing in me that says Anthony Davis is going to be healthy the rest of this year because I've never seen him healthy for a full year. So I have no expectation for that to happen. I do know that even a frat boy-bodied, beer-drinking Luka, you add him to LeBron, they're going to make some damn noise. Whether he changes or not. Now, I do believe he's going to change because the environment is going to change him. But whether he changes or not, if you just put his skill set, even with his lackluster defense on that team just got better. I think Dallas just got better. Just like you talked about that Rams-Detroit trade. Both teams got better. Who's going to do the more immediate thing with them? I don't think either one of them can win the West this year, frankly. But I do think that with a Kyrie, Mavericks have a better chance. I just don't see AD being healthy. So I'm going toward the long-term effect of this thing, which is where I'm really qualifying and quantifying the Lakers as the absolute winner. LeBron, what, 2 or 3 more years?
Yeah.
Luka, 10 or 12 more?
Yeah.
AD won't be in Dallas in 10 years. LeBron won't be in the Lakers in 10 years. Luka got a chance to still be there and have a damn statue unveiling in 10 years.
Well, let me ask you this. Not to cut y'all off, but let me say this. 2-part question. What if the Mavs win the championship in the next 2 years and the Lakers do not win the championship in the next 10 years while Luka is there? Then who wins? And I'll get to my second part in a minute. Y'all let me know. Then
I think who wins with the naked eye would be the Mavericks because it worked for them. If they get a championship before AD stops playing, then it worked for them.
Right. However, so that's the ultimate goal, right? To get a championship.
I get that. Okay. But when you factor in that Luka is just 25, they're going to have the chance in LA to get 5 championships in the next 10 years.
Well, now you being a close friend of Coach Prime, what does Coach Prime tell you about chances and opportunities?
I don't be listening. Yeah.
Coach, you hear that, Coach?
I don't be listening.
They can have the chance.
Chico, I know you did.
Huh?
Chico, I know you didn't.
What you mean? What you saying?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and he gonna clip it and post it.
I just asked the question, dog. I didn't tell him what to say. I just asked the question.
Yeah,
and I'm saying that because.
But see, here's the fallacy.
Okay.
Scoops. Here's the fatal flaw in his argument. He gets to hypothetically say, well, if they win one in the next 2 years, but I can't hypothetically say, what if Luka get 5 in the next 10? Like he gets to skew his argument to make his point. And then when I skew argument to counterpoint, like, no, you can't say that. That's hope and expectation. That's chances and opportunity. What Coach Prime say about that? It's the same. If AD was the silver magical bullet that the Dallas Mavericks are hoping he is, LA would have more championships than the one in the bubble.
Okay.
Has he not been there the 4 years since the bubble?
Listen, I'm all with you on that. I didn't think LeBron and AD meshed as well as they thought. You know what I'm saying? To me, I didn't feel like they meshed as well as they thought.
AD play center and he don't want to play center.
Exactly.
He don't
and if you're doing anything you don't want to do, then come on, dog. You're not going to be doing it the best of your ability. 100%.
That's how you and Deuce got sick on 2 different sides of the world. Y'all were doing something you ain't want to be doing, but you thought you'd do it anyway because she was mad, and now you call.
See, here 2 things on that. 1, that just shows you where you 2, I saw a clip that I was going to send to you. I couldn't remember where it was from, but I just happened to be watching some as I was falling asleep. And that's exactly what they said when the dude came on there and said, man, my throat is sick. He said, you eating that bad cat? I said, oh, my God.
I do want to say this, Dukes, in all sincerity. I see a comment down there from It Is What It Is.
Oh, Lord. I knew he was going to say that.
Every time I get ready to shoot, Chico move the backboard. That's all I'm saying. It's like he framed the argument on a 15-footer, and then when my turn to shoot, he pushed it back 5 feet, and I'm shooting 20-footer. Like, dog, leave the basket where it is, and let's talk.
Hey, man. I see why y'all finna fight last night.
Hey, look, Luka averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. You said that's past performance going to indicate the future performance. That's 28 points coming to the Lakers. AD was averaging, 24 and close to 10 or right around 10 or whatever. Not discrediting him, but I say that this is going to be a better fit for LeBron at this stage of his career. If they can, muster out a championship while LeBron is there and get one while Luka is there with whoever he's going to have as his supporting cast, I think that would be the ideal situation for the Lakers.
They just can't be done right now.
No, they can't be done. Not with this roster the way it's constructed right now. We're going to have to make more moves. Still got that draft pick and still got some pieces to trade. We need a big man also.
First of all, Chico, Keisha loves shooting shots at you. She says she don't see the Lakers winning ever, no matter what they put with LeBron. As a Lakers fan, you should take that personally.
Damn.
I would say this about when you look at just points. When you say, okay, AD had these amount of points and Luka had this amount of points, you also have to look at the styles of play. AD is hard to defend, but you ain't got to defend him but one spot. You got to guard Luka everywhere. He stretches a defense. Like, you got to guard him the wing, the 3-point, back to the basket, baseline, corner 3. Like, no matter what he does or doesn't do, he's going to help LeBron by creating space because you got to play him everywhere. And so there's a different dynamic to it than more than what their average score is. At the end of the day, I think the Lakers are going to be the bigger winner of this trade because Luka has more time left in his 20-plus points a game than AD has.
Yeah, the way Luka plays is he's basically like a European LeBron. When you think about someone who can impact the game in a multitude of ways, and I say the European part because traditionally you don't see European defenders defend that well.
Mm-hmm.
But offensively, he could do everything. He's probably a better shooter than what LeBron has been, but LeBron added so much more. So now when you have basically another version of yourself, I think it's going to be important for LeBron to try to understand how do I utilize this type of weapon who can be ball dominant, right? Or needs to be. He's listed as a point guard, right? Luka, a lot of the time, he got Kyrie off the point. So now you have to look at the Lakers need to figure out how to showcase and how to get 34 from Luka instead of 28. How do we get 33? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, did he not lead the league in scoring last year?
Yeah, he led the league in scoring, and I think that's going to be. Just imagine, Kyrie is a ultimate scorer also. I think he's more of a natural scorer than LeBron. LeBron is going to want to play off Luka. Like I said, he's a fan of Luka's, so he's not going to want to try to, just take over and let Luka play off of him. I think he's going to do better in playing off of Luka. So that's going to open up Luka to get those 30-plus points, and LeBron can feed off of that, kind of like what he did in Miami. Now, the question is going to be, will we get that third player that can actually score? Will that be Austin Reeves or Connect? Will they trade those pieces? How is that going to work? So, but to step back just a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to underscore what you're saying, and I know you're not saying as a Laker fan, you're just saying as a basketball purist and your basketball IQ. The reason that third player is going to be so vitally important is that now you have two players. No shade to anybody. I'm just talking facts here. You got two players who their first mindset is to make the basketball play. And so they're going to be kicking the ball to the open man. Like they're like you probably got a Laker offense coming now. There's going to be 3 or 4 passes before the ball is shot.
Mm-hmm. And that makes the team better, I think.
Yep.
At the end of the day. And like Duke said earlier, I said this last night also, Luka is getting with LeBron. Like I said, they have a great relationship. He was a LeBron fan, so he gets to play with him and learn from him and see how he takes care of his body. And you think he's not going to go to that school of LeBron to be able to play as long as he can, in tip-top shape? I think he will. Now, to step back like I've been wanting to do this whole time and talk about that beer situation that Michael Finley took from his hand. Luka is from a country called Slovenia. Slovenia is right below Austria. Austria is where I used to live and where I played football for the Grass Giants out there. What I witnessed was a different culture of people, different culture of young kids, 16 and up. And that's when Luka went and played professional ball when he was just a teenager. 16 and up, smoking cigarettes and drinking beer like it was water. I literally had teammates that would be dressed in full uniform right before the games and at halftime would be like this, smoking the last little bit of their cigarettes. So I'm saying this to say this, that I said that to say this. I think it's a cultural thing as far as them drinking beer. And when Michael Finley came and took that beer from his hand, you saw the look Luka gave him. So I think he was like, man, what are you doing? And Michael Finley didn't realize you're kind of almost disrespecting him, so to speak, not asking him to take it from, just taking it from him, trying to make him conform to this Western culture, I think. I think it was nothing different from what you might see Jokic do, Dirk Nowitzki do, and any other Eastern European player. They're going to drink their beer because that's what they've done. Once he did that, I think it was time to go because they're not understanding the player that they have in the culture. And that's sad after they had Dirk Nowitzki all of those years. So, I mean, and I think
and they mean what they say. I mean,
they mean what they say. Look what his dad said.
And I think right now, what's a better fit for where they want to go? This ain't Mark Cuban, who was one of the people that could be more understanding, who's basically what they call a player's owner. So to speak. Now, after the sale of the team, this is a bottom line business. And at this point, it's like, all right, look, they're not giving this man no supermax to drink beer after the game, bro. Like when you look at indicators of what you finna do, and we always say, how do you say it? Future performance, the best indicator is past performance.
Yeah.
We know what happens when people don't take care of their body. We know what happens. So it's like, all right, we're gonna get this 25-year-old who drinks beer like water. Like, just think about how this sounds. Like, and shout out to all my people from over in Slovenia. I identify with the culture. Man, I worked at Siemens Industries, and we had a big contingent of Slovenian, Russian, and Eastern European countries. And what I would say is Chico is 1,000% right. Like literally, we at work. And they would have brats and beer outside, like on Fridays at work. Like, I get it. But at the end of the day, that was on Friday when everything was done, and they stopped it. You know why? Because people wanted to do it more so than they needed to be done to be productive. And when you're making a product that can affect the lives of millions, we were making cables for trains. You go in and you get audited, and you're like, bro, how are you doing this close to something so important? And that's what Mike Finley is saying. Like, bro, you had time. You mean to tell me you couldn't wait till you got home? That's how bad. Like, you couldn't wait till you got home. Damn, the beer, you had to have it right now. I can't wait. One of the biggest games of your career, and I got to have a beer today, and you ain't won nothing. Drink the champagne after you've won it, right?
Dukes. Drink the champagne
after you won it.
But wasn't this after the game though?
Yeah, man. Listen, let me tell you
I
something.
can't have a beer
Chico.
I drink beer like water.
Chico, argue with that joker like you did me last night.
Hold on.
Argue with that joker.
It's after the game. All right, boom. You mean to tell me that every player in the NBA, just imagine somebody who would have rolled up a joint. They wait till they get home.
That's different though, dog. A joint is not acceptable everywhere, I would think.
Don't tell me about East European culture, and that's in the culture, because I know what we was doing at 16, Chico. So we can talk about but we wasn't doing it. Imagine I'm in Denver where it's legal. We win the game in Denver where it's legal. I got a card on me, right? And I just roll up a J outside of the stadium when I'm talking to the fans, right?
Is it legal? You shouldn't be able to do that?
No. Crazy.
Why? Because of the team? Because I'm around the team? Why should I be able to do that? It's legal, dog. They're not testing for it anymore.
It's something called a time and a place.
You're right, yeah. And that's that Western American culture, I think. I think over there in Europe, in Europe, you will see young guys in the cafe. That's what I'm talking. Not just doing it on the street like we did in our backyard. We would have to go in the backyard. No, we're going to a public establishment. That's a business that you have to walk into, sit down, and order coffee, beer, and cigarettes. And it's wide open out there. It's not out here in the West.
So look, I got a great
life.
I got a great idea for that. He needs to go play in the Eastern European Basketball Association. Go play in that league. Then you can drink. Look, they don't even drink Gatorade. It's beer in there. Go play in that league, and then you're a better fit. But in this league, in this America, where everything that we've been trained to do is a time and a place, all of the rules that we have in the league, we will know 75% of the league probably burned down. All of them. As soon as they get through playing, they come out with I've been but guess what you didn't see? You didn't see them in company gear and company attire doing it. And I just can't make an excuse for somebody who don't see enough in himself to know that while I got on these company shorts, I think he had on a tank top. But while I got on
drinking a beer, we got real American beer out here. We got commercials. We got sponsorships from these beer companies.
And then let me ask you this. They sponsored the NBA. Damn, they're sponsored by Prize Picks. But can you gamble? It's legal.
That's true.
It's just.
Chico. Chico.
And then I'm gonna say this and I'll let it go. Do you think Michael Finley snatched the first time he seen him with a beer? Or did that look?
That's up to speculation. Well, I will say this though.
Just answer my question. Do you think that was the first time, or did it look like? Let's speculate. Did Michael Finley's face look like that was his first time telling him about?
He didn't even look at him. He just snatched that thing and kept moving. But you saw Luka's face, and whether it was the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth time, Luka said, "Okay, that's the last one you're gonna take with me, dog."
Here's what it looked like to me. It looked like they've had the conversation before, but it looked
like
that's why
he didn't even look at it.
It never took it out of his hand, and that's why Luka's like, "Man, this ain't even the situation that we discussed. Like you discussed my off-season conditioning and what I do after the games. Like I'm off work right now, chilling, having a beer." It neither here nor there. Here's what I think the long and short of it is. I think the Dallas Mavericks are Erykah Badu, and I think Luka is Tyrone. And Luka done found somebody that will pay his way and his homeboy's way.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to complain about it because they looking at the upside of what they get. I think the Dallas Mavericks, whether no matter how I feel about it, Chico feel about it, you feel about it, Dallas Mavericks is just tired of his shit. And it reached the point, incorrectly to me, because Tyrone, my boy, I think Tyrone a good catch. Tyrone to make somebody happy. But Badu was tired of Tyrone. So I just think, man, look, the way you look at this thing, I think he's going He's going to go to LA. He's going to be better forward. Because this is what I said last night, Big Dog. You back me up on this. Don't lie on me. This is what I told him last night. At the end of the day, whether you think the Lakers won or the Mavericks won, let me tell you who absolutely won. Who absolutely won is Luka. Because as much as I love Dallas, Texas, when you in sports and you in the marketing and you ain't Jerry Jones of the Cowboys, you can't even compare Dallas to Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And the opportunity that he has there, even without signing that mega deal this summer, the marketing opportunities, the movie opportunities, the production ownership opportunities, he in a much better position than he was 72 hours.
Lost out on the Supermax from the Mavs, but what is that? 166
he currently lost out on it.
But that's not going to mean too much once he gets in LA and gets all those endorsement deals and things of that nature. And then he'll be able to drink his beer freely, I think, as long as he's training like LeBron, because I don't think the beer is going to affect him. Like I said before, I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse. I think that Michael Finley did that, trying to make him conform and be the way that we are in the West. And as you said, I don't think that our, strategies and working out or remedies or whatever are any better than anywhere in the Eastern culture.
Chico,
you know what I'm saying? I think they're on top of their game too.
Chico, you quick with the production. Let me challenge you to do this. Lynn Dawson, cigarette. Type that in.
Oh yeah, he was smoking on the sideline.
He was smoking at halftime in the locker room.
Listen, I just told you I saw this with my own eyes.
And that's in our modern day NFL Super Bowl. And he's smoking a cigarette at halftime.
Yeah, on the bench in full uniform.
Yeah.
See if I can share this with you guys. But that just shows you how times has changed, I think. If I saw somebody drink it or drinking a beer versus smoking a cigarette in full uniform, I'm going to have a problem with the cigarette smoke over the beer. That's just me. And he taking a big drag off that thing.
Look at him. He hitting them on.
He that feels like a dude from around the corner.
That ain't coming in no pack. That was a Lucy.
It probably went out there and threw a couple touchdowns too. But yeah, man, I just think that is about the culture. I think Luka is totally fine. I think he's already averaging 28. And if he can, get with LeBron and average 30 plus, it's a big middle finger back to Dallas. I think, especially when they play him every year.
So let me ask you this, Chico. Let me ask you this, dude. Since we're doing speculations, what can LeBron more consistently, not every time, not 100%, what can LeBron more consistently count on? 26 from AD or 30 from Luka?
30 from Luka.
30 from Luka.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Right there. That's all I'm saying.
Luka get 35 out there.
Luka with LeBron over there playing off him, and they having to guard LeBron too, and you mess around to get a couple of shooters like Connect could be, and like Austin Reeves could be, and a rebounder, Myles Turner from the Pacers. Look out for him coming to LA. Luka's gonna have free range with Kyrie. They kind of played your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn to score. With LeBron is not. He's not going to he's not going to call for the ball to want to score each and every time. Chico, he's a facilitator too.
You said it best earlier, man. Not since Dwayne Wade has LeBron had to get out somebody's way.
Right.
Like he's literally going to be able to defer now and get out somebody's way and make sure he's standing in the dead spot on the floor, because you really don't know where this 7'2" point guard finna take the ball.
And
like let me just move.
Penetrating to the lane, then LeBron's back cut, he dishing it to him. LeBron, bam, dunking that thing. What?
Now you sound like a Lakers fan. Last night you sound like you were Dallas.
No, I just know Dallas made a great move also on their part. Even though they didn't want to trade Luka, I think AD is a great fit for Dallas and what they have right now to win in the next 2 or 3 years. That's what they have that window for, I think. So, final thoughts on that, Duke?
Man, y'all killed it, man. I think I'd say this: if they add that one last piece, because I worry about the Lakers defensively a little bit now. In that West, I do worry about them. Like, and we always just go. What's my man name? Jokic. When we talk about big men, And when you talk about the young athletic big man, the all-star from the Rockets, I struggle with
it. Sengun.
Sengun. Think about Sengun. You think about what's my man? The 7-footers that the Oklahoma City Thunder has. You got two of them.
Big Chet and big former Nick
Hartenstein.
Isaiah Hartenstein, yeah.
Hartenstein, right. When you look at all the bigs that are in the West, you got to add somebody to help you down low. That's the only thing. But outside of that, they're gonna have to score a ton of points. And I think that Unc made such a great point. I don't think nobody's gonna be able to find a hole in the zone better than LeBron. He's gonna be setting up now, and now this adds years to his career.
Exactly.
He can become a secondary facilitator, and not only make the right. Now he becomes even more of a marksman with his passes, because he's going to set himself up to get other people open. We talk about somebody teaching the game. LeBron James understands this game at a level that I don't think a lot of people have ever. So from this point, I think it just helps LeBron elongate his career when you bring in a guy like Luka. And I do think that the way that Kyrie is playing, they call him the point guard, lowercase g.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they say CP, but man, look, Kyrie right now, nobody got a better handle than him. Scoring either hand. Like right now, you give him a big and can go pick and roll. This may be the nastiest pick and roll we've seen since Kyrie and LeBron.
Yes, because AD can shoot it from outside. He can go to the basket. You know, he's still a force on the offensive side of the ball. So him and Kyrie are going to be, killing on that 2-man pick and roll coming down the lane.
And defensively, what do you do defensively against the Mavericks right now? Like they literally they can neutralize any big defensively. And what if they go? What if
Jokic?
Man, bro, imagine fourth quarter and they say if Kyrie done went crazy, you give him one shooter and move Anthony Davis to the 3, and you play Gafford and what's my other man's name?
Gafford and Derek Likely.
Likely. Boom. You bring all that front court in because you can do that. That's literally doomsday for anybody who's getting off on the interior. So I think that what Dallas did was say, we want to play basketball. We want to rebound. We don't care about the flash, and we want to be able to shut you down. And we want players that play the game the right way. And I'm not saying Luka didn't. I just, like you said, I just think they was tired of Luka, man.
Let me tell you this, Dukes and Chico. My final point on it, touching on what you said about the Mavericks and what can somebody do to stop it. You got to rebound your ass off. You can't let them get second chance points. First chance points is going to be enough. They're going to damn score. And what I'll say about the Lakers end of this, when you look historically, one of the most dominant big men in the NBA history, particularly with the Lakers, and was also known to be lazy and out of shape by his own admission in Kobe's too, was Shaq O'Neal, and he got a damn statue out there. So I'm really not worried about the Luka conditioning phase, because to me it doesn't impact his performance no more than it impacted Shaq's. I just think it's time we look at people and we see what they could be if they did things differently, and allow that to not let us truly see how great they are doing the way they want to do it. So if Luka can lead the league in scoring by standing in the hallway drinking a beer, don't take that beer out of his hand.
Don't take the beer out of his hand. And everybody talk about Jokic's body. He should look like. What if he looked like LeBron? He'll never look like LeBron.
Ain't nothing they can do about it.
Ain't nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, Luka had to get a BBL.
BBL, Luka.
BBL, Luka. This is who Jokic reminds me of. What's the boxer name that beat Deontay Wilder? Tyson Fury.
Sure.
Amazing, skillful boxer, but doesn't look like you'll walk right past.
I'm gonna go old school wrestling on y'all. When y'all would have the 4 horsemen come out, and you got Lex Luger, Flair, Olin Arn Anderson, and then Barry Windham hiding in the corner because Barry Windham ain't lifted the weight in all his life.
Barry Windham.
Luka is Barry Windham. Mess with him if you want to now. He gonna kick your ass, but he just don't look like it.
He was country strong. He threw bales of hay in the backyard with his dad.
Yeah. One of the best players ever.
Right. His dad's VP of basketball. I believe he took the beer from Luka because players are not to be drinking on camera like he was and can't be giving free promo. Now, see, that can be very well true right there. I like that explanation, but still, come and say something to me, dog. Don't just take it out of my hand like I'm a 12-year-old child. I just won you a big time game right here. You just gonna come and take it? All right.
Look, let me tell you this now.
Oh.
Let me tell you this. And I'm off the Luka Laker.
All right, we're gonna be off you too.
But just on the Finley thing, let me tell you this. In as much as that Finley was not wrong, he was definitely flexing.
Yeah.
He was, because when Latoya talks about the camera, he could have off camera said, "Hey, Luka," and pulled him off camera, took the bill. He was definitely flexing. He was definitely letting you know, I'm the VP and you a player. I'm taking your bill. Like, it was definitely a flex.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. All right, so guys, we have we talked about Myles Garrett, talked about Luka, of course. A couple of other pieces of news here. We had another trade in the NBA with De'Aaron Fox going to play with Victor Wembanyama in San Antonio, and Zach LaVine heading to the Sacramento Kings. Not as big of a splash, but I do think that Fox in San Antonio will be a big move and a big help for Victor Wembanyama.
Anything that Victor gets added to him is damn near cheating. This is a cheat code because he can do it all on his own. When you look at, man, how he skews the scoreboard just on his blocks, forget his points. Like, he's wiping away 12 points a game that the other team normally would be making just on defensive blocks, and that ain't counting the ones where he changed the shots. And so you add another piece with him. And I think Dukes, Chico, not to go back to the previous discussion, but I think relative, because all those teams in the West, when you are managing a basketball team, you got to look at what you got now and what's coming. And when you look down in San Antonio and what they're building, they're working on, and doing all of this while Coach Pop is out on sick leave, recovering from a stroke. God bless Coach Pop and his recovery. I know they still talk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, what is San Antonio going to be 2 years from now?
Yeah.
Man, what they finna be for the rest of this year. Man, dog, they got Swiper, they bring the Fox over, and and I think more importantly, they held on to Steph Castle. Atlanta was a kid, but man, when you talking about having that guy with that type, with that type of range, I almost said something else. When you talk about that guy in the backcourt who can help you as far as defensively, bring in a guy who can play any type of style of basketball that a point guard can play in Fox. You can still have your lockdown 2-guard, and you can have Fox move on or off the ball. And then we talked about dangerous pick and rolls. Fox and Wemby, that's a dangerous pick and roll. I think they did a great job. Yeah, man. So, man, shout out to the Spurs for it's just another Spurs move. It's almost like whoever's in charge of picking basketball teams and where they're going to be successful at. The way the Spurs walked into Tim Duncan after coming off the run with, walked into Tim Duncan while you still had David Robinson. You walk into Wemby. It's just another move in a long line of Spurs. Whatever it is that they've done right, they've been done right in the basketball universe. So shout out to the Spurs and LaVine to
the Kings.
I think it's going. I think it's going to open up DeMar DeRozan son. It's going to help them. They've got a lot of familiarity. Not only is LaVine going to be able to be a bigger scorer, but it'll help DeRozan bring his game out because this is a mid-game. He's a dinosaur in this league when you talk about having a mid-range jump shot. So having LaVine being able to stretch the floor the way that he can and not having to drive as much. If you see his game this year, we know that LaVine lost some athleticism, but he's been knocked down shooting that ball. So by being able to add another shooter who can do a little bit of both is going to help DeMar DeRozan. So this year, I think it'll help propel the Kings to possibly that first to the number 7 spot, which is that's the play-in game, the first play-in game. So, but man, the Spurs, and they ain't done. They not done, and they are loaded with picks thanks to the Hawks.
Yeah,
I want to give a couple of shout outs here, man. First and foremost, just like then when you ended with the Hawks and then in reference to Atlanta kid, Duke's gonna make Atlanta, Georgia be a part of the discussion some kind of way. So shout out for that because my grandmama told me it's a piss po frog that is shit on his own lily pad. So one thing I love is you love where you from. But my other point I want to make is compliment to the three of us that we can have a 45-minute basketball discussion. And because we would know Diddy and pause the hell out of each other, nobody said long, nobody said go deep. Like we avoided words like that just at a level of black excellence never seen in a Black History Month before. So I want to shout out my 3 co-hosts for not giving the chat the opportunity to say no, Diddy, and pause. Because never did we say, oh man, he's so long and he could go so deep. Like we stayed all the way from the basketball conversation.
Although last night you did say you was gonna pull out and go back in.
I did say that. I did say that.
All right, I'm being wrong on that. All right, before we get up out of here, WNBA news real quick. We still haven't talked about football, but we're talking about Caitlin Clark. Of course, she's a fire starter for anything online. So we must discuss her getting her jersey retired as she went back home to Iowa, right?
Yeah.
And got her jersey retired at Carver Hawkeye Arena on Sunday. That number 22 is in the Raptors now. No one would ever wear that jersey number again. She made news earlier this month, though, when she decided not to participate in the NBA three-point competition, but instead to wait until the WNBA All-Star game to participate in it and to bring those lights to the WNBA rather than the NBA. So y'all thoughts on Caitlin Clark getting her jersey retired and not participating in the NBA three-point competition?
Well deserved on the jersey retirement. I don't know if there's a window that you got to wait to do it, but you got to do it at the first opportunity. And so shout out to her for that. Well deserved, well earned. And as far as participating in the All-Star Weekend of WNBA, I'm getting about tired of this forced consolidation of these two leagues and doing skill stuff together. Trying to help. At one point years ago, Dukes, it was done to try to help to promote, the women's league, so put more eyeballs on them. But the fact of the matter is, the only way you're going to get more eyeballs on the WNBA is for the talent to get better. And the only way the talent is going to get better is that the feeder system of college basketball for women gets better. And I think you see that happening. When you look at what's happening across the nation from Iowa to LSU to South Carolinas, of course, with the powerhouses, like the Huskies up there with Gino. I think the pipeline for women's professional basketball is stronger than it's ever been. And that's what's going to grow the eyeballs, is a quality competitive product where you can have a Asia or a Caitlin
NBA
on every team versus just 3 of them in the entire league. I like the expansions taking place to other cities. Stop trying to merge these All-Star weekends. Let this league stand on its own.
Stop trying to merge the All-Star weekends and let them stand on their own. I like that. Dukes?
Yeah, I just think the NBA got their own problems. Don't like my grandma used to always say, man, don't borrow no trouble. Like they need to be focused on what they got going on. And Caitlin Clark, now this is one point in time where I think that Caitlin Clark would help the NBA. Because ain't nobody, right now it's like they got the wave. When you think about the young stars, you think about the Asia Wilsons of the world. You look at all the trades, Brittany Griner coming to Atlanta. Like, it's an exciting time to be a WNBA fan. Like, I'm really trying to see how this is going to work. Like, to see the Connecticut Sun blowing up the way that they did. So as far as what her like, I kudos to Caitlin for sticking to the WNBA. But man, when you talk about this, I watched more WNBA games last year, regular season, than I did NBA games this year, regular season. Now, I watched more NBA in the playoffs, but they got my attention. So I think it's an exciting time to be a WNBA fan, and they don't have to lean on the NBA like it's times past, because now they've got their own star power and they got more coming. Man, I don't know if I'm looking at some of the high school basketball, women's basketball is just evolving as a whole. And when you look at what's coming, you look at Juju coming, Flau'jae coming, you got more and more. Iowa State, I can't think of her name. Like, man, this girl about 6'3", 270. Can't do nothing.
Yeah, big mama. Yeah.
So at the end, oh man, what's called the daughter? Man,
yes,
Adrian Peterson's daughter. Man, I don't know if y'all
she's balling too.
What? She poking, bro.
He's good. Should have known AP, because he's a superior type, elite athlete. I'll never forget when I saw him at the Pro Bowl out here in Hawaii, and I'm walking in the hotel and somebody just galloped by me. I say gallop like a horse. Literally galloped by me. And I'm looking, I said, damn, that was AP. Huge as hell, muscular, and right on his tiptoes. So I can imagine his daughter being of that same type of genetics.
You ain't asked to ride with him like you did Pastor Troy?
And then also, shout out to Asia Wilson on the retirement of Shout out to Asia Wilson on retirement of her jersey yesterday. Also, same number, number 22, and she led the South Carolina Gamecocks, of course, to their first national
statue too.
title.
She got a statue too.
Man,
got a statue
look,
also.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm
MVP.
if I'm an NBA agent, I would have been right at that ceremony trying to figure out NBA or WNBA, because if they stay together, whatever child, Asia Wilson and Bam Adebayo, man, when you talk about winning the genetic lottery to be an athlete, man, I would have been out there. Bam and Asia had on pinstripes together. I'd have been the third person in that pinstripe suit. Like, who are you? The baby caretaker.
Getting your Farnsworth Bentley on with the umbrella. Make sure y'all all right. Y'all good?
Baby be ducking on you in the 5th grade.
I'll tell you this. One of the things I do love about the WNBA is when they show them arriving to the arena. Because when you get to see them in regular clothes, you be like, man, she
crazy.
Shout
out to what's big girl named Cameron Brinkley, who's been causing up a storm out there in LA. She's been doing model type stuff too. And that goes back to that endorsement type stuff that you get when you sign with the LA team. So WNBA on fire right now. The unrivaled league is going down, and women's basketball is big. And I know Uncle Neely is a huge fan of women's basketball. That's how he got started doing what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't be an existing one for women's basketball at Jack State. One thing I just love the purity of it, man. The communication. You can watch guys play, and you can sit on front row, and you don't hit nothing but the ball dribbling. Right. When you watch women's basketball, they communicate, and they calling out screens and back picks. The point guard is orchestrated. It is a sound, fundamental product. And I think the WNBA is going to grow as the level of competition and talent grows. And when you talk about that pipeline, Deuce, Juju, Flaugier, and they are bigger personalities than just basketball players.
Yes.
That's going to increase the eyeballs. You ain't got to do no gimmicks. Just be patient.
Right. But there it is, guys, the morning run. And we're going to finish up on football real quick. We're going to ask a question. And reports has been coming out about mock drafts, and everybody's has been flipping back and forth. SHEDEUR or Cam as the first quarterback taken in this draft. Let's get you guys picked right now. I know it might be a little bit biased right here, but let's hear the reasons why you would take, or who would you take, first of all, with the number 1 pick, and why? SHEDEUR Sanders or Cam Ward? And wait, let me rewind. I shouldn't say number 1 pick. Let me just say you have a top 3 pick, and you're looking for a quarterback. Who are you taking first, SHEDEUR or Cam Ward?
I'm going to go with SHEDEUR Sanders for my pick, and quick reasons why. When you're picking in the top 5 and need a quarterback, you got a bad team. You probably got a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator. And when I look at the collegiate career of SHEDEUR Sanders, I see a young man who played 4 years of college ball with 4 different coordinators, 4 different offensive systems. I've seen a guy have to command and demand leadership with having a subpar offensive line and still getting the job done. I've seen the guy go out and do things when the defense had failed on their part to do things, or special teams. When you talk about the leadership, the ability to stand in front of a microphone, whether you're cutting a ribbon at the Children's Hospital or having a press conference after a tough game, all the things that a franchise needs in their quarterback when you're picking in the top 5, give me SHEDEUR Sanders, because he has all of those things, plus he knows offense, knows how to read a defense, and he can move the ball down the field. I would go SHEDEUR Sanders as my top pick as the first quarterback taken in the 2025 draft.
Yeah, I think you can flip a coin, and I think it's just based on style. Well, what do you want? Do you want somebody who you want? If you want to move the pocket, you probably go Cam Ward. If you want somebody to sit in to be a general from the pocket, and you probably go SHEDEUR. So for me, I probably go SHEDEUR just based on the fact of seeing his toughness more than anything. Seeing that when things get rough, or can he get the ball out quickly enough? I think he can. So I just think for right now, you got to go SHEDEUR. But I'm a 1A 1B type guy when it comes to that. Like, I don't think it's a whole lot of difference. These are 2 great quarterbacks, and I think we're gonna be watching them go against each other for years to come. And this is gonna be one of those drafts that we look back on like we looked on the draft with Ben Roethlisberger and Eli Manning, and like it's one of those type drafts. So I would go with SHEDEUR, but Cam Ward ain't far behind at all.
Not at all.
I think it's going to be a factor of location also. So let's say Tennessee takes a non-quarterback with their top pick. Now you have Cleveland and the New York Giants sitting right there. If you're the Cleveland Browns, you got to trade away Myles Garrett. You're going to have extra capital. You could probably get a quarterback later. Do you go with a guy like Abdul Carter to fill in that role and then use those pieces as far as draft pick that you got from the Myles Garrett trade to bring in a quarterback later to your team? What do you guys think about that? If you're the Cleveland Browns, do you take SHEDEUR still, bad weather situation, or do you take Cam, or do you go a different direction?
I still stand on the same answer before, and I can mix it with what Duke said and what you're trying to look for. Both Cam and SHEDEUR have the same trainer and select QB and Darryl, so like they know the rigors of what they're facing. I will say that there's times during Cam's career whereas he got Miami out of trouble. It was early on in the game that he kind of quote unquote put them in those troubles with some ill-advised play. And SHEDEUR is one of those guys who can get you out of trouble, and it's not necessarily the trouble that he created, because he takes care of the ball at a higher clip than most quarterbacks that age or even with some NFL experience. So I think anybody in the top 5 looking for a quarterback, I'm still going to go with SHEDEUR first, even if it's a challenging place like the Browns. I think the ripple effect, though, Chico, is do the Titans stand on what they have said, even though they didn't use a name? Paraphrasing, they basically said there's no way they're going to pass on a once-in-a-lifetime athletic talent when they got the first pick. Reading between those lines, that means they're going to take Travis, which leaves the next teams with, to choose from these 2 quarterbacks.
And I think the Cleveland Browns could be looking to trade down if a team like the Raiders entice them with enough draft capital to move down. And I think they'll still be able to get their player that they're eyeing if it's a guy like Abdul Carter or a non-quarterback. They can trade down, get more picks, and still get a quarterback, I think.
Absolutely, Chico. I think you're spot on right there. With the departure of Myles Garrett, the challenges that the Browns have, drafting a quarterback in the top 5 doesn't solve their problems. They have the ability to trade back, let somebody else get that, and pick up more what they need, because they need things across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's going to be the final move. So, hey, SHEDEUR Sanders or Cam Ward, let us know in the chat right now. What are you guys thinking? Let us know also what do you think about the morning run, over an hour-long discussion right here. Myself, BiggDogg, Chico, Uncle Neely, and Dukes the Scoops. Philip Dukes, a.k.a. Dukes the Scoops, should I say. And let them know where they can find you guys at.
Dukes?
Oh, at Dukes the Scoop on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube at Dukes the Scoop.
Personally, on Instagram, BSTGK. You can want to drop me an email. That's Uncle Neely at DeepRegation.
What does that stand for?
That is Big Sexy, the Giant Killer.
Easy.
Wait. You got to do the dramatic pause. You can't just say it. You got to pause. It's Big Sexy, the Giant Killer. And you got to do the pause every time.
That's a note. That's a note.
You got to say the whole thing.
That's a note to my guy, Kevin Nash, I would think, right?
Kevin Nash, when he pile drive the Giant. Call me Big Sexy, the Giant.
All right. On that note, guys, y'all stay tuned. We're going to have more episodes coming from all 3 platforms. Y'all go in there, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that when we do go live, you will be notified and you could come join the conversation with us 3, the coldest trio on YouTube, live right here. All right. Stay tuned for everything else. Like I said, all right, we're gonna be back with more. Hit the like, subscribe, comment. We up out of this thing. Peace in the Middle East, y'all. We out of here. Let's go. Unbelievable. Uncle Neely, the one and only.
With that bell ringing, baby. Gotta ring that bell.
Yes,